Before Season 5 drags us back into the darkness, we need to revisit the things that crawled out of it. Because Hawkins was never just a town, it was a hunting ground. It began with a single night, a shadow moving through the woods, a door cracking open, and the Demogorgon whispering its way into our world. Then came the Mind Flayer, a creature made of smoke, storms, and pure hatred, searching for a body to control, a town to consume, a world to claim. And just when Hawkins thought the nightmare had peaked, Vecna arrived. Bones snapping, eyes bursting, pulling kids into his twisted memories like a spider dragging prey into its web. Every scream, every flickering light, every missing heartbeat was a sign. The Upside Down isn't invading, it's awakening. And this is the complete, terrifying journey from Season 1 to Season 4. The monsters, the deaths, the lies, and the curse that's been waiting to finish what it started. Let's enter the darkness again. Hawkins, 1983. A quiet town where the loudest thing at night should have been crickets and old radio static. But then, something opened. A door that was never meant to exist. A tear in reality. A breath from a place where the air is cold, the sky is dead, and the shadows have teeth. And from that darkness, the Demogorgon slipped through. It moved like a rumor. Fast, silent, impossible. One moment Will Byers was biking home. The next, he was gone. The house shook, lights flickered, and the world pretended nothing happened. But Joyce Byers didn't. She heard her missing son whispering from the walls, from the lights, from a place no human should be. She wasn't going crazy. She was being contacted. Meanwhile, deep in the woods, a girl covered in mud and fear stumbled out of nowhere. Head shaved, eyes empty, a number 011 burned into her skin. 11. She didn't speak much. She didn't have to. Because the blood on her hospital gown, the tremor in her hands, and the fear in her breathing told the whole story. She had escaped something monstrous, something human, and something not. As the boys searched for Will and Hopper dug deeper into Hawkins' lab, the truth emerged like a corpse rising from murky water. The lab had been experimenting on 11, pushing her mind to the edge, using her to open doors they couldn't close. And the Demogorgon? It wasn't a creature that wandered in, it was invited. The season ends with a nightmare showdown. Kids huddled in a school hallway, and 11 sacrificing everything to destroy the Demogorgon. One scream, one burst of power, one monster turned to ash, and she vanished with it. Will came home, but not alone, because inside him, the Upside Down left a piece of itself behind. A message, a seed, a warning. This was only the beginning.
Easy peasy, right?
Easy peasy.
Just like that.
Will Byers came back, but the darkness didn't let him go. It followed him. It lived inside him. It watched through his eyes. Night after night, Will slipped into visions, blizzards of ash, red lightning, and a towering shape made of pure shadow. A creature with no face, no body, just hunger. The Mind Flayer. It wasn't a monster that hunted people. It was a force that hunted worlds. While Hawkins tried to move on, Halloween parties, arcade games, teenage drama, Will was being pulled back into the nightmare, one seizure at a time. And every vision felt less like a warning and more like a countdown. Meanwhile, 11 wasn't dead. She had exploded the Demogorgon, but she hadn't escaped the fallout. She was hiding in a cabin with Hopper, isolated, scared, angry, like a storm waiting for someone to release it. Her powers were growing, but so was her loneliness. She wanted Mike. She wanted answers. She wanted the truth about where she came from and what she really was. And deep under Hawkins' lab, the real problem was growing. Literally. The gate. The 111 had opened. The government tried to burn it, contain it, choke it, but it kept widening, pulsing, breathing. And from it, the Mind Flayer sent its scouts. Creatures that weren't quite Demogorgons yet, but close. Fast, brutal, hungry. Demodogs. Dustin found one and named it Dart. Cute, until it ate his cat. These creatures roamed tunnels beneath Hawkins, a giant underground network connecting everything, including Will. Because the Mind Flayer wasn't haunting Will anymore, it was in him, using his body, hijacking his mind, speaking through him like a microphone. Will became the spy, the puppet, the boy whose heartbeat didn't fully belong to him anymore. When soldiers tried burning the tunnels, Will screamed, the Mind Flayer possessing him like fire burning inside his bones. It wasn't just invading Hawkins, it was preparing to take over Will, and through him, the entire world. Everything led to one truth. To stop the Mind Flayer, they had to close the gate. But only one person was strong enough to do it. 11 returned, furious, powerful, changed, and walked into Hawkins' lab like a living weapon. The Mind Flayer felt her coming. The power in the air tasted like electricity. The walls shook, and with blood dripping from her nose, screams echoing in her head, and the weight of 2 worlds on her shoulders, 11 closed the gate. The portal collapsed, the energy snapped, and the Mind Flayer lost its grip on Will. For now. But in the final shot, as the camera flipped upside down, a giant spider-shaped shadow hovered over Hawkins in the dark dimension, watching, waiting, growing. The war wasn't over. The Mind Flayer was only wounded, and Vecna hadn't even entered the stage yet. Summer in Hawkins. The sun is bright, the mall is booming, the neon lights are buzzing, and underneath all that color, something rotten is waking up. Because when the gate closed at the end of Season 2, the Mind Flayer didn't die. It simply lost its body. So it began to build a new one, a better one, a stronger one. A body made not of shadow, but of flesh. It starts with Billy. All attitude, anger, and steering wheel tattoos, driving home from the pool. The road goes dark. The sky turns red. Something slams his car, and then he sees it. The shadow monster. Long limbs, crawling smoke, eyes burning like embers. The Mind Flayer screams without sound, and Billy is dragged into the Upside Down, where it forces itself into him, breaking his mind, twisting his memories, planting commands. Billy becomes the Flayer's puppet, the general of an invisible army forming in Hawkins. People begin acting strange, cold, emotionless, like their humanity is slowly being peeled away. Because the Mind Flayer doesn't need one host now, it needs hundreds. So it infects them, possesses them, and when it's done controlling them, it melts them. Bodies collapsing like wax in a furnace, bones dissolving, tissue liquefying into a boiling, bloody sludge, and all that flesh crawling together to form its new vessel. A creature built from corpses, the spider monster, the Mind Flayer's physical form. Every scream, every missing person, every sudden death feeds it. Meanwhile, while Hawkins' citizens are being turned into human soup, an entirely different nightmare unfolds beneath Starcourt Mall. A secret Russian base, a machine designed to crack open the Upside Down. Scientists drilling reality like it's a frozen wall. They don't care about Hawkins. They don't care about the danger. They want power. And opening the gate again means waking the Mind Flayer just when it's about to be reborn. On the 4th of July, fireworks explode above the mall, while hell explodes inside it. The Mind Flayer's flesh monster tears through walls, screeching, shrieking, hunting 11, its biggest threat. The kids run, hide, fight, bleed. Hopper and Joyce infiltrate the Russian base. Steve, Robin, Dustin and Erica try to shut down the machine. 11 loses her powers bit by bit, drained by constant attacks and psychic damage. Finally, Joyce flips the switch. The gate collapses. The Mind Flayer screams, its flesh melting, cracking, falling apart like a dying beast that's losing its soul. Hawkins survives, but Hopper doesn't, or so they think. The explosion wipes him out, leaving nothing but silence where he stood last. 11 is broken. The Byers family leaves Hawkins. Summer ends in grief. But thousands of miles away, in a Russian prison, a guard whispers, "Not the American," and a captive Demogorgon growls in the dark. Hawkins thinks the nightmare ended at Starcourt. They think the Mind Flayer died, the gate collapsed, and peace finally returned. But evil doesn't die, it evolves. And this time, it comes back with a face. It begins with Chrissy Cunningham, a cheerleader drowning in trauma she hides behind perfect smiles. Then, the lights flicker. The clocks tick backwards. Her nightmares turn real. She hears footsteps behind her when no one's there. She sees her house rot. And then, she floats. Bones snap. Eyes burst. Silence. The town blames Eddie Munson, but the monster responsible has been waiting decades for this moment. His name is Vecna, and he doesn't kill bodies first. He kills minds. One victim becomes two. Two becomes three. Hawkins is slipping back into the curse, and the town refuses to believe it. But Dustin and the gang see the pattern. Every victim has trauma. Every victim sees visions. Every victim is chosen. Vecna doesn't hunt randomly. He hunts pain. And his goals aren't small. He wants blood. He wants fear. He wants total control of the barrier between the real world and the upside down. Because every kill tears a hole in the world. Max knows she's next. Her past is heavy. Her guilt is loud. And Vecna smells it like blood in the water. She sees the clock. She hears her brother's voice calling from the grave. She feels her bones tightening as the curse begins to coil around her. Her friends try everything. Notes, music, love, memories. But none of it stops the monster from crawling into her mind. When Vecna finally grabs her, it's not just scary, it's suffocating. She floats. Her eyes go blank. And then, Kate Bush becomes the lifeline. Running up that hill blasts through her headphones, and Max tears herself free, escaping Vecna's world in a desperate sprint through collapsing memories and falling debris. It is one of the closest calls in Stranger Things history, but Vecna never forgets his prey. Meanwhile, 11 is miles away, powerless, isolated, bullied, helpless, until Dr. Owens takes her to the secret underground facility called Nina, a sensory deprivation tank. A mind machine, a door to her own past. Inside it, she relives her childhood, the hallways, the experiments, the screams, the blood, and the orderly who was always watching her, a man named Henry. Quiet, calm, too calm. He reveals who he truly is. 001, the first experiment, a psychopath with powers stronger than anyone in the lab. And the killer behind the Creel murders. 11 doesn't join him. She fights him. The telekinetic blast she creates shatters reality, hurling Henry into a dimension of rot and storms, where his body twists, burns, and mutates into Vecna. 11 didn't just defeat a monster, she created one. Joyce and Murray break Hopper out of a Russian prison where guards treat Demogorgons like gladiators. Hopper fights one with nothing but a spear and a will to survive that burns hotter than fire. Their escape is brutal, cold, and desperate, but it's also the beginning of hope. Because Hopper's homecoming later will be one of the most important moments in the entire series. The Hawkins team launches the most dangerous plan yet. Phase 1, enter the Upside Down. Phase 2, distract Vecna. Phase 3, burn his real body. Phase 4, save Max. The kids break into his world, a twisted replica of Hawkins, frozen in time, dark, decayed, breathing like a living organism. Eddie becomes a legend. His guitar screams Metallica across the upside-down sky, pulling the bats toward him like a storm of teeth and wings. He pays for it with his life. While inside Vecna's psychic realm, 11 confronts him in the Red Sky Nightmare dimension, a battle of willpower, pain, and rage. But even with 11 fighting, even with fire raining down on Vecna's real body, Max dies. Her bones break, her eyes bleed, her heart stops. 11 revives her, but her spirit is gone, her mind silent and dark. And in that exact moment, Vecna wins. 4 kills, 4 gates. Hawkins cracks open, splitting into a giant, burning cross. Ash falls like snow, towers collapse. The Upside Down begins spilling into the real world. Vecna disappears, wounded but alive. He is not defeated, he is evolving. And now, Hawkins stands between two worlds, half alive, half dead, waiting for the final war. Hawkins is dying. The ground cracks open, and the air feels wrong, like the Upside Down isn't invading anymore, it's merging. Vecna isn't dead, he's healing, hiding inside the cracks he created, watching Hawkins rot while he prepares for the final phase of his plan. 11 stands at the edge of the destruction, powers returning, realizing this was never about Demogorgons or the Mind Flayer. It was always Henry, 001, Vecna. Will feels him again, the cold breath on his neck, the whisper crawling across his skull. He knows Vecna is still out there, and the connection between them is growing stronger. Max is alive but empty. Lucas refuses to leave her side. Dustin carries Eddie's death like a scar. Hopper and 11 reunite, broken but ready to fight. This isn't another season. This is the end game. Vecna has 4 gates. The worlds are overlapping. And the shadow rising in the red clouds isn't a warning, it's a promise. Season 5 will begin with war, 11 versus Vecna. The final battle for Hawkins, and for reality itself.